I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of a lighter clicking outside. Quietly, I crept out of bed and tiptoed towards the door, intending to give Scott a fright. As I gently gripped the handle and pulled the door ajar, I overheard his voice, filled with resignation and frustration. "I know Edith's coming back in March. She told me. It's not that simple to just end things. You don't understand. I still have feelings for her. We've been together for almost 3 years, after all." My hand began to tremble on the doorknob, my mind going blank as a dull ache spread through my chest. "Let's leave it for now. I'll gradually distance myself and then find a suitable reason to break up." Tears fell to the floor as my legs grew weak. I quickly steadied myself against the wall to avoid making any noise. I couldn't believe it. The man who had just been whispering sweet nothings in my ear was now calmly discussing breaking up with me to his friend. All because his old flame was returning? Thinking back, I owe my relationship with Scott to Edith in a way. When she chose to emigrate with her parents, giving up on their love, Scott fell into a miserable state, drowning himself in alcohol and cigarettes. It was then that I, having secretly fancied him for a year, saw my chance. I began to appear in his life more often, creating chance encounters until we finally got to know each other. When he was drunk, I'd carry him back to his hotel room alone. When he smoked too much and felt ill, I'd buy him all sorts of sweets to help him quit. He lost a lot of weight during that time, and I was so worried that I'd prepare different nutritious meals for him every day. He warned me more than once that he couldn't forget Edith. Back then, I naively thought, will she even come back? So each time, I'd shake my head and say, "It's all right, I'll help you move on." Finally, after a year of my persistent efforts, his heart began to soften. When we graduated from university, he bought me a bouquet of my favorite tulips and asked if I'd stay and be with him. It's been almost 3 years now, and he's been really good to me. We've always been seen as the model couple among our friends, and I thought I'd never find a better man in my life. Only now do I realize that for him, these 3 years were just about making do. I heard footsteps outside, and not wanting him to know I was awake, I hurriedly slipped back under the covers, using my sleeve to wipe my face. The door opened, and I quickly shut my eyes. His footsteps approached, finally stopping by my side. After a few seconds, I heard a deep sigh. My heart felt like it was being clawed at, leaving me breathless with a dull pain. Perhaps on nights I didn't know about, he had stood by my bed many times before, sighing like this. Perhaps while I was planning our future, he was already figuring out how to end things with me gracefully. The other side of the bed dipped as he got in. After some rustling, all that remained was an uncomfortable silence. I slowly opened my eyes, holding my breath as tears continued to roll down my cheeks. "Scott, is this your Christmas gift to me?" I left his house quietly as the dawn was breaking, having not slept a wink all night. After crying all evening, the cold morning air helped clear my head a bit. As the rush of passionate love subsided, many small, previously overlooked details began to surface in my mind. Reflecting on past incidents, I realized Scott couldn't have been entirely indifferent to me. Just as he'd said, "It's not that I have no feelings for you at all." However, compared to Edith, I simply didn't measure up. I laughed bitterly at myself. If that's how it is, I might as well go along with his wishes. 2 months should be enough time to gradually distance ourselves. It'll give me a chance to forget him too. I'm sure I'll get over this relationship before he does. 2 people walking in opposite directions is far more efficient than one person moving forward while the other retreats. Just as I was about to call a taxi to work, my mobile rang. I hesitated as I looked at the screen. Before I could decide, the call ended. Moments later, a WhatsApp message popped up. "My dearest Scott, where have you gone so early? Why didn't you answer?" I frowned at the pinned nickname and changed it to Scott Faraday, then replied, "Urgent matter at work, had to leave." He responded with a simple okay and didn't inquire further. You see how efficient he is? We just talked about it last night, and he's already started today. Throughout the day, I couldn't stop myself from checking my phone. Previously, even during work hours, we'd chat a bit, and he'd often message me first. But today, my phone was as silent as if it were broken. After work, I returned to my own flat and opened WhatsApp again, still no messages. Even by evening, there was nothing. I absent-mindedly scrolled through our chat history, page after page, filled with sweet nothings like love you, miss you, care for you. I simply couldn't understand how everything that seemed so perfect before could change overnight. Nevertheless, I steeled myself and deleted our entire chat history of 2 years, 11 months, and 21 days. Looking at the blank conversation, besides the waves of pain, I felt a hint of relief. For the next 5 days, it seemed as if we had suddenly lost contact. He didn't reach out to me, and I no longer took the initiative to contact him either. Even my colleagues at work started to gossip, wondering if we had broken up. I just smiled, neither confirming nor denying. Whiskers, you can't keep eating like this. If you carry on, I won't be able to pick you up anymore, I said, stroking Whiskers while feeding him some cat treats. My phone vibrated. I reached over to grab it and was surprised to see Scott's name on the screen. Where are you? He asked. I chuckled, at home, of course. Why haven't you messaged me these past few days? I frowned, busy. All right, what are you up to? Feeding Whiskers some treats. I took a deep breath, feeling the awkwardness seeping through the screen. It had been too long since we'd last chatted. He sensed it too, making small talk for a bit before hanging up. I sighed. This was fine, I supposed. One day, I would be the one to let him go first. Actually, I wasn't lying to him. I had taken on a new project recently and was genuinely very busy. The next day, after work, I left the office with a stack of documents, eager to get home and sort through them. As soon as I stepped out of the building, I froze. Scott was there to pick me up. Seeing me, he walked over, skillfully taking the documents from my hands and my bag, then put his arm around me as we walked towards the car. After a few steps, I wriggled out of his embrace. Why did you suddenly come? I asked. He looked down at me for a moment. We haven't been in touch for days. I wanted to see you. My heart ached. So he still thought about me, right? But then I reconsidered. Of course, he still had some feelings for me. Let's go to mine. I'll cook for you, he said. I stopped in front of the car and smiled. I don't think so. I have a lot of work today. I need to go home and do overtime. He ruffled my hair. Can't you do that at mine? I couldn't find a reason to refuse, as I had often worked overtime at his place before. Come on, I bought your favorite pasta, he said. I looked up at him and nodded. At his place, I was reminded of that night, and I felt an uncontrollable heaviness in my chest. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing. He patted my shoulder. All right, I'll go make dinner. You deal with your work first, and I'll call you when it's ready. I nodded, keeping my head down, and rushed to the study. I was afraid that if I waited a few more seconds, tears would fall. I couldn't understand him. Weren't we maintaining a good distance these past few days? Why did he suddenly come to find me today? My mind was in chaos, and I couldn't focus on my work. Before I knew it, he was calling me for dinner. Eat more, he said, placing peeled prawns in front of me. You see, he still loves me. He knows I love prawns but hate peeling them, so he always prepares them for me before I eat. Are you going home for Christmas this year? He asked. I looked up at him and tentatively said, yes, do you want to come with me? Meet my parents? He looked up in surprise, then quickly lowered his gaze. I'm giving you one more chance, Scott. If you just say you'll come with me, I can forgive you. I might be busy over Christmas, he said. You could come after you're done with work, I added hastily. I probably won't have time, Sabrina. Don't worry. There will be opportunities in the future. I stared at him for a while, then forced a smile and nodded. The future? We don't have a future anymore, Scott. I'm going to take a shower, I said to Scott, who was washing the dishes, then went into the bathroom. I quickly showered and came out, crawling into bed with my back towards his side, pretending to be asleep. When he came in, he walked to my side and looked at me for a long time. Finally, he sighed and got into bed. The next day, I woke up early and left as usual. I stood in front of the calendar, looking at the date and crossing off another day. It had been 2 weeks. Now, I no longer found myself constantly checking my phone for his messages. He would occasionally send me a few texts, but I had stopped overthinking about them. All in all, things were going well. I threw myself wholeheartedly into work and submitted a transfer request to the company. When we first got together, HR had asked if I wanted to work back in my hometown, but I had refused for the sake of being with him. Looking back, I realized how foolish I had been. The sound of my phone ringing snapped me back to reality. Sabrina, it's my birthday this Saturday. Why don't you bring Scott along? It was Muriel Stanhope, Scott's friend. Have you asked Scott about it? Of course. He told me to ask you. I might not have time. Maybe Scott can go by himself. You can't be serious, Muriel sounded displeased. It's Saturday, for goodness sake. It's too much if you don't come. I stammered, it's not that, I've just been quite busy lately. Come on, it'll just be for a bit in the evening. Unable to resist her pleading, I finally agreed. Early Saturday morning, I was sitting at the dining table eating some pasta when suddenly, the door opened. I looked up, and Scott Faraday froze in his tracks. Our eyes met unexpectedly, and we both felt awkward and at a loss. I averted my gaze from him, lowering my head and poking at my pasta with my fork. Why are you here? He changed his shoes and walked over, sitting across from me. Aren't we going to Muriel's birthday party today? Isn't that in the evening? I thought I'd come early since I had nothing else to do. He stared at me, making me feel uncomfortable. I put down my fork. Have you eaten? Shall I make you some as well? He nodded. I hurriedly left the living room and went into the kitchen. However, within seconds, he followed me in, standing behind me, watching. You can go out, I don't need help. It's fine, I'll just watch. I sighed deeply, wondering what had gotten into him today. So I quickly made him a bowl of pasta, not even bothering to add an egg, and brought it out. Then I hastily finished a few more bites of my own pasta and stood up. Take your time eating. I have some work to do, I'll go take care of it. We'll leave together in the evening. With that, I fled the living room. I really didn't know how to be in the same room with him. At night, I could pretend to be asleep, but during the day, I had no way to avoid him, so I could only escape. Not long after, I heard the sound of the door outside. Had he left? Just as I was about to go out and check, I received a WhatsApp message. I'm going to the supermarket for a bit. When he returned, it was already afternoon, and I had finished my work. When I saw Scott come back with bags of groceries, I was stunned for a few seconds before remembering to go help him. Couldn't you have just given Muriel money instead of buying so much? These are for you. I looked up at him. He walked past me to the fridge, putting away the things he bought one by one, while chiding me. There were no snacks left in the house, and you didn't even think to buy any. You often get hungry at night, and when you don't eat, your stomach hurts. I bought you some food. All the things you like. My heart clenched, and a wave of emotion surged up to my nose. You see, he was like this again, ignoring me one moment and then coming over to care for me the next, playing hot and cold. I took out my phone and transferred £50 to him. What's this for? Nothing, I just wanted to thank you, but I didn't know how else to do it, so I sent you some money. You can buy something you like too. No need. It's okay. Just take it. He smiled, the corners of his mouth turning up. What's gotten into you? Why are you suddenly so polite? Isn't it natural for a boyfriend to buy things for his girlfriend to eat? But you're not my boyfriend anymore, I thought to myself. Yes, I smiled. I just wanted to express my gratitude. He didn't say anything more. In the evening, he drove me to the restaurant, handing me a bag as we got into the car. It's a New Year's Day gift. We've both been busy lately, and I forgot. See if you like it. I clutched the bag tightly and opened it to find a necklace. Scott had excellent taste, everything he gave me was always beautiful, and this was no exception. Thank you. No need to be so formal, he turned to look at me, pinching my cheek. It's my pleasure. I'm glad you like it. The way he looked at me was full of affection, making all the mental preparations I had made over the past few days suddenly waver. I bit my lip, thinking, this is really the last time. Why not a ring? What? A ring. We've been together for almost 3 years now. Isn't it time for a ring? He was silent for a moment. During this time, I became so nervous that my palms began to sweat. Scott, this really is the last time. If you don't cherish this, nothing you do afterwards will make me waver again. Are you sure about this? We can be sure now, can't we? Sabrina, I think we should wait a bit longer. My hand holding the bag suddenly lost its strength. I lowered my head, laughing softly, not knowing if I was laughing at him or at myself. No rush, it's fine. I was just saying. Don't worry about it. Throughout the entire birthday party, I simply sat beside him, forcing a smile and constantly agreeing with everything. In truth, I dislike some of his friends because they always bring up Edith in their conversations, always dragging me into discussions about their unforgettable childhood memories. Once, when I showed my displeasure, they waved it off with smiles on their faces. Come on, are you really upset? Sabrina, don't take it to heart. We all grew up together, and since Edith's gone, we can't help but think of her sometimes. Besides, Scott is all yours now, isn't he? Don't be so sensitive. Scott would also put his arm around me and say, I only love you. Try to be more understanding. Since then, whenever we dine with them, I just maintain this facade, agreeing with whatever they say, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. After the party, he wanted to take me back to his place, but I declined, using the excuse of having to start work early tomorrow. He didn't say much, perhaps startled by my earlier mention of marriage. He just nodded in agreement. After that day, my work truly began to get busy, with overtime or business trips every other day. One day, as I was waiting at the airport for my flight to Manchester, Scott called me. Are you coming over for dinner tonight? I frowned, about to refuse, when the airport announcement came. Attention passengers, your flight BA 1386 is ready for boarding. Please. You're at the airport? Where are you going? I'm on a business trip. He was silent for a few seconds, then complained, why didn't you tell me? There was nothing to say. I'm about to board. Bye. I let out a sigh, guessing he had suddenly thought of me again. How laughable. After landing, I saw the messages he had sent me. Scott, let me know when you arrive. Scott, just give me a call, that's all. I deleted the records and ignored them. Before bed that night, he tried to video call me. I hung up and sent him a voice message instead. Why did you hang up? I'm not dressed. It's not convenient. He chuckled softly, all right then. Why didn't you tell me when you arrived? I forgot. How long will you be there? Not sure. Let me know when you're coming back. I'll pick you up at the airport. No need, I'll just take a cab. He paused for a few seconds. Sabrina, are you upset because I said we should wait a bit before getting married? I was a bit taken aback. You've been different lately. I feel like you're angry with me, but I don't know why you're unhappy. Can you tell me? I thought sadly, am I the only one who's been acting differently? No, you're overthinking. I'm just a bit busy. On the day I returned from the business trip, I still didn't tell him. I took a cab home by myself. After tidying up and taking a shower, I picked up a pen and crossed off several more days on the calendar. It's been over a month now. I feel like I'm halfway there. At least now, my emotions don't fluctuate much because of him. I reckon if he were to break up with me now, I could calmly accept it. He came to pick me up on the 3rd day after I returned. I don't know how he found out I was back, perhaps he asked a friend. I saw him standing in front of the office, looking displeased, and I knew we were in for an argument today. Why are you here? I asked. He didn't say a word, just stared at me intently, then took my bag and put his arm around me as we walked towards the car park. I tried to break free, but he held me tightly, so I had to comply and follow him. When we arrived at his place, I had just changed my shoes when he grabbed me. Why didn't you tell me you were back? I said you didn't need to pick me up. So what? So you can go on a business trip without telling me, come back without telling me, and I have to find out on my own, is that it? I sighed and shook off his hand. Scott, I don't want to argue with you. He glared at me, taking several deep breaths. At that moment, I actually hoped he would say we should break up, but he didn't. He walked past me and went to his room. I stood there for a while, planning to leave. Just as I had changed back into my shoes, he came out again. Where are you going? I'm going home. Isn't this your home? I was speechless. What do you think? He stared at me for a few seconds, then rubbed his temples vigorously before coming over and pulling me to sit on the sofa. He turned and went to the kitchen to make dinner. I sighed, shrugged, and stood up. Walking towards the master bedroom, I opened the wardrobe to find many of my clothes inside. When we celebrated our 2-year anniversary, I suggested we could live together, but he refused, citing work inconvenience as the reason. So, at that time, I would bring a lot of my things over each time I came, always wanting to fill the house with my presence. I reached out, took a few pieces of clothing, and folded them, planning to take them back tomorrow. After dinner, just like last time, I took a shower early and then went to bed pretending to be asleep. What I didn't expect was that this time, he got into bed and hugged me from behind. I didn't move. He whispered in my ear, Sabrina, you used to need me to hug you before you could sleep. Why don't you need that anymore? Before? Yes, why was I always the one initiating things before? I kept my eyes closed, letting him hold me. Seeing that I didn't move, he hugged me tighter and buried his head in the crook of my neck, kissing it. It's been so long since I held you. Before, I used to like him holding me while we slept, but he found it too warm and would always let go of me in the middle of the night, then turn his back to me. So I suggested he hold me for half an hour before we sleep, and then we could separate. Although he was a bit impatient, he agreed. I still didn't say anything. That night, he actually slept holding me like that. In the middle of the night, I suddenly needed to use the loo and found he wasn't in bed. I walked to the door and opened it slightly. Sure enough, he was on the phone again. I know, I just suddenly realized I can't be without her. After distancing myself for a month, I found myself missing her terribly, couldn't control myself, and brought her back. I was slightly taken aback. I don't know what to do either, I'm very confused right now. I can't forget Edith, but Sabrina has been by my side these past few years. Like I said before, I do have feelings for her. I don't know, she brought up marriage last time, and I brushed it off. She's been upset with me these past few days. Edith will be back in 2 weeks, and I'm really confused now. I widened my eyes. 2 weeks? How did it get moved up? We couldn't drag this out any longer. I closed the door, used the loo, and went back to bed. The next morning when I woke up, I found an arm draped over my waist. I frowned, trying to remove it, but as soon as I moved, he suddenly tightened his arm and pulled me into his embrace. Why are you up so early? I need to go to work, I said, pushing his hand away. Sleep a bit more, I'll drive you later. No, I can't sleep anymore. You sleep. He opened his eyes and looked at me for a while. Then I'll get up too. I'll accompany you for breakfast. Unable to refuse, I had to go out for breakfast with him. Then he drove me to work. As I was about to get out of the car, he held my hand. I'll pick you up this afternoon. I asked him, confused, what for? Didn't you used to say you were busy and it was troublesome? I'm not so busy recently, he paused. I'll pick you up to have dinner at my place, sleep over. Then I'll drive you to work tomorrow. No, I'm really quite busy these few days. I want to sleep in a bit more in the mornings. He looked at me for a few seconds. Then I'll stay at your place. Scott, I'm a bit tired. Let's break up. He was stunned for a few seconds, then his eyebrows furrowed tightly. Why? Is it because I said we should wait a bit longer for marriage? No, it's not that. Then what is it? He turned my body to face him directly. Looking at his anxious face, I couldn't help but want to laugh. What are you unhappy about? Aren't I doing exactly what you wanted? He was stunned for a while. What do you mean? Still pretending? Didn't you say to distance yourself first, then find a suitable reason to break up? Isn't everything going according to your plan? What are you unsatisfied about? He was dumbfounded. I could feel his hand holding mine trembling. You heard that day? Yes, I heard. I also heard what you said last night. So, you don't need to be conflicted anymore. Go find her. I'm dumping you, so just go. He grabbed my arm. No, Sabrina, I waited silently for him to finish, but after hemming and hawing for a while, he couldn't say anything. Scott, have you ever thought about what would have happened if I hadn't overheard? He remained silent. I would have kept trying to warm up to you when you were distancing yourself, constantly doubting myself, and then continuously trying to please you. Finally, you would have found a suitable reason to break up with me and get together with Edith. I looked up, staring into his eyes. Actually, I really can't understand, Scott. We've been together for almost 3 years, and I had a crush on you for a year before that. I don't think I've ever done anything to hurt you. Why are you treating me so badly? Just because I like you? His expressionless face finally showed a hint of panic. At that time Scott, let's just end it here. Actually, over the past month or so, I feel like I've pretty much forgotten about you, really. But I won't forgive you, not in this lifetime. He stared at me for a long time. Are you sure about this? I nodded. All right, he sighed. If that's the case, then let's separate. I let out a light chuckle, nodded, and got out of the car. The next day, during my lunch break, I went to Scott's house and collected all my belongings. In the afternoon, I gave him a call. I've left your house key on the coffee table. When will you return mine? There was a long pause on his end. Are you sure about this, Sabrina? If you don't want to split up, we don't have to. I felt a bit impatient. Can you please answer the question I asked? I'm asking about the key. And just to be clear, I'm the one who dumped you. Sabrina, I'm sorry. Scott, saying sorry 1,000 times doesn't change the fact that you're a cheater. Just throw away the key, I'll change the locks. After hanging up, I deleted all his contact information, including those of his friends. In the following days, I received some good news. My transfer request was approved. Mom, I don't want to eat this. I stared at the table full of food, lost in thought. I'd been back for nearly 2 months and my parents had managed to fatten me up by 6 pounds. So, my parents decided to put me on a diet. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I got up to answer it. When I opened the door, I froze on the spot. Scott had lost a lot of weight and looked much older. When he saw me, his face brightened, and he smiled sheepishly. Sabrina. I frowned. Mr. Faraday, what's this about? Who is it? My dad came over. Good evening, sir. I'm Sabrina's friend. I've come to see you and your wife. My dad gave me a meaningful look, then invited him in. I've brought some gifts for you and your wife. I raised an eyebrow and blocked his way, turning to my dad. Dad, he's here about work. I'll talk to him outside and be back soon. I put on my shoes, took the gifts, and prepared to leave. He grabbed my hand. Leave the gifts here. I pushed him away. No, thanks. It's a hassle to return the favor. I shoved the gifts into his hands and led him downstairs. Mr. Faraday, what do you want? Here to deliver a wedding invitation? He looked at me wearily. Why didn't you tell me you were back? I had to ask so many people to find out. I glanced at him. There was no need. Mr. Faraday, what do you really want? He put down the gifts and held my hand. Sabrina, I miss you. I can't forget you. No matter how hard I try. I turned to face him, looking him up and down. Can't forget? What's there to forget? I was genuinely in love with you, Mr. Faraday, but it took me less than 2 months to get over it. I suppose your feelings for me didn't even last a week. I laughed sarcastically. Mr. Faraday, your little affection for me probably didn't even need that long. It's not like that. His eyes started to redden. Sabrina, I was blind before. You have every right to be angry, it's okay. I'll win you back slowly, I'll wait for you. Are you mad? What happened? Did Edith dump you? He shook his head. Scott, we were together for almost 3 years. I asked you at least 3 times to come and meet my parents. But you always had excuses. Why the sudden change of heart now? I'm sorry. I don't accept it. Just go. I left him there and went back upstairs. I didn't see Scott again until a week later. On that day, I saw Scott standing in front of the company building, holding a bouquet of vibrant roses. He was leaning against his car, looking at me with a cheerful expression. As soon as he spotted me, he rushed over, handed me the flowers, and took my bag. My colleagues around us had gossip written all over their faces. I sighed and had no choice but to follow him. Wasn't I clear enough last week? I asked. He smiled. You were, but I also said I'd wait for you. I frowned at him. Scott, what are you doing now? Putting on an act? No, I just want to win you back, he replied. I was speechless. He rummaged through his bag for a moment, pulled out a small box, and pressed it into my hand. The ring I had custom made has arrived. Have a look, do you like it? I narrowed my eyes at him. What do you mean? Nothing special, I just wanted to give you a ring. Giving a ring after breaking up doesn't seem appropriate. Then let's get back together. I laughed in disbelief. You're quite the comedian, Mr. Faraday. How can you say that so casually? Weren't you the one who pushed me away first? What gives you the right to decide when we break up and when we get back together? He looked up, his eyes filled with desolation. I'm sorry, Sabrina. At that time, my mind was in chaos, but I quickly realized that it's you I love. I scoffed. Love me? That's not it, Mr. Faraday. You just have some lingering feelings for me. No, that's not true, he said, grabbing my arm with some agitation. Sabrina, you might not understand. Edith and I grew up together, and I always thought I'd never love anyone else the way I loved her. But then you appeared, and you shattered that belief. After we separated, nothing felt right. Even when Edith came back, it didn't change anything. He continued, his tone somewhat conciliatory. It was then that I realized I've always loved you, so I came back to find you. And so? Am I supposed to take responsibility for your childish mistakes? I retorted. He shook his head. No, I made the mistake, I'll take responsibility. I just want to win you back. Sabrina, can you give me a chance? I'm sorry, Mr. Faraday, but I don't have any feelings for you anymore, not even hatred. So, please stop doing these meaningless things. With that, I got out of the car, found a bin to throw away the roses, and took a taxi home by myself. Perhaps I had struck a nerve, because for the next 2 weeks, he didn't come to bother me. Apart from sending messages and making calls from different phone numbers, I didn't see him at all. I've set up a blind date for you, my mom announced. I sighed, feeling a bit exasperated. Mom, I'm really not that desperate to get married. Just go and see. It won't hurt, she insisted. Unable to resist my mother's persistence, I reluctantly agreed to go. The blind date turned out to be quite a polite gentleman. Though I didn't feel any particular attraction, at least the conversation wasn't awkward. I had a lovely time today. I hope you did too, he said as we wrapped up our meeting. I unbuckled my seatbelt and smiled back, of course. I'll be off then. Good night. Good night. I watched his car drive away before turning to head back home. I had barely taken a few steps when suddenly, someone grabbed me from behind. Before I could react, I was lifted off my feet. When I finally got a clear look, I realized it was Scott. Anger surged through me, and I struggled furiously. Are you mental? Put me down. No matter how much I cursed or hit him, he held me tight and shoved me into the back seat of his car before climbing in after me. He kissed me fiercely as if he wanted to devour me, one hand gripping the back of my neck while the other pressed firmly against my back. I couldn't break free. Seizing my chance, I bit down hard on his lip. Instantly, I tasted blood. He pulled away for a second, then pressed his lips to mine again. Just as I felt I was about to suffocate, he finally released me slightly. Who was that? He demanded. None of your bloody business. Didn't I tell you to wait for me? Why the hell should I wait for you? I shoved him away angrily. He took a few deep breaths, then reached for his bag in the front seat and started rummaging through it. Here's my ID, property deed, bank cards. I was bewildered. What are you doing? He pulled me close, our noses almost touching. I'm going up to meet your parents. Then, we're getting married. I stared at him, wide-eyed. Have you gone mad? Yes, I went mad the moment I saw you getting out of his car. He hugged me tightly. I know I was wrong. Please don't leave me, Sabrina. Really, I know I messed up. Please, please don't leave me. His voice began to tremble, and I felt a lump forming in my throat. I closed my eyes, trying to calm myself. Scott, you left me first. I truly regret it. I can wait for you to forgive me, as long as it takes, but you can't leave me. Weren't we good together before? His hands cupping my face tightened slightly. You want to get married, right? Let's get married. I swear, I'll love only you for the rest of my life. I laughed bitterly. No. Scott, I can't be with you again. What happened? It's like a barrier I can't cross. After a long pause, he looked up, his eyes glistening. Am I really that unforgivable? I nodded calmly. To me, yes. He held my face in both hands, staring at me for what felt like an eternity, until my neck began to ache. Finally, he let go. Sabrina Cargill, no matter how hard I try, we can never go back, can we? No, we can't. He buried his face in the crook of my neck, and I immediately felt wetness on my skin. He was crying, but in a restrained manner. There was no sound, just his choked breathing and the continuous fall of tears. I thought sadly how familiar this felt. Wasn't I crying just like this that night? Before he left that night, he had said to me, I won't bother you again. I wish you happiness. But Sabrina, I'll be waiting. If one day you change your mind, we'll get married. I had smiled and replied, I wish you happiness too. Don't worry, that day will never come. After I told my best friend Winifred Halifax, who had just returned from her travels, about the incident, she insisted on taking me on a trip to clear my mind. Without hesitation, I took some time off work and went with her. During our journey, I received an unexpected phone call. Hello, who's this? I answered. It's me, Sabrina. I was stunned. It was Muriel Stanhope. Is everything all right? I asked. Yes, I just wanted to ask. Is it true that you and Scott have really broken up this time? We split up a while ago, I replied. She sighed, actually. I know about the whole situation. I'm not calling to convince you to forgive him. I just wanted to tell you something. She took a deep breath before continuing. Edith is back, but Scott isn't with her. He hasn't done anything to betray you. Although his words were harsh, after speaking with my boyfriend, he's been regretting it. He said he wanted to distance himself from you, but he couldn't help but check on you. He loves you, Sabrina. I just wanted you to know that your 3 years together weren't wasted. I laughed. What do you mean he hasn't done anything to betray me? Does it only count if they slept together? I think emotional cheating counts too. You're right. I just didn't want you to feel like your 3 years were thrown away, or to doubt yourself. I won't. I didn't do anything wrong. All right, she paused. You know, I really like you, Sabrina. I wanted us to be friends. But our positions are different now. So, I'll just wish you happiness. Forget about him. You deserve better. I chuckled, okay, thank you. You too. As I hung up, Winifred rushed over, asking, "Who was that?" "Just a friend," I replied. Seeing I didn't want to elaborate, she didn't push further. "Well then, shall we go see the sea?" As I gazed at the breathtaking scenery, a phrase popped into my head, "It's all water under the bridge now." Winifred nudged me, handing me a camera. "Beautiful, isn't it? From now on, be happy. Forget what needs to be forgotten, and cut ties where necessary." I raised the camera and captured the pink and purple hues of the evening sky. I'll consider this my decluttering for the year. Cutting ties with this relationship, letting go of these feelings, leaving this person behind. Winifred threw her arm around me. Exactly. While we're young, we should see mountains, seas, and all the wonders of the world. Why should we be upset over a few rubbish men? Our precious youth is ours alone, and no one else should waste it. I burst out laughing. Right, we're fabulous on our own.